talk to me.
Hey everyone, pleasure to be here. I'm well aware of the fact that I'm the only individual standing between you and Billy Bean. So I will make this as least painful for you as possible. So I'm going to state the obvious right from the get-go. I am a huge fan of Gong, and you're soon going to find out why that's the case. So I joined Handshake about 3 years ago. And I remember when I first joined Handshake, I went to our CRO, and I asked him a specific question. That question was, if I go out on that sales pit right now, and I ask 8 different individuals how they all closed their last deals, how many answers would I get? And without missing a beat, he said 8. I said, 8 different answers? He said, yes, Parth, you would get 8 different answers. And that got me really excited. I understood that if a business could be successful and there was opportunity for improvement around process and motion, and we could refine that process and motion, we've provided the business a heck of a lot of leverage, both short-term and long-term, as the business scaled. And the reason I bring that up is that many of the sales leaders that I speak with on a weekly basis share a common sentiment, their desire to have consistency around their sales process and their motion. The other portion that's shared is their desire to make sure their reps are spending time on high-impact sales activity and less time on low-value tasks. And that's effectively what Gong has enabled us to do. It's enabled us to move smarter, be faster, and be more aligned throughout our entire sales process. And as I walk through my experience with Gong, I'm going to highlight 2 main areas. Number 1, how we utilize every aspect of Gong, be it call coaching, deal boards, forecasting, and then the impact that it provides both to our business and to our reps, personally and professionally. And my hope here is at the end of my experience, do you hear how we leverage Gong right now? You get that same sense of relief, the same confidence that I get to experience on a daily basis around the fact that you surely can enable your team to spend more time on high-impact sales activities and create a predictable process in motion that can scale for time to come. So I first heard about I first heard about Gong 5 years ago. I heard about Handshake a little bit before that. I first heard about Gong 5 years ago, and I started using it at my previous employer. And when I first jumped into Gong, I immediately understood the impact and the value it provided, both to our reps and to myself as a leader. Fast forward to today, we have about 200 handshakers that leverage Gong on a daily basis. And if you want insight and a kind of a testimonial about the power that Gong has for our go-to-market motion, ask any of our sales reps what they would do if Gong went down for a couple days. So I'm sure many of us here in here can attest that, believe it or not, sales is hard. Sales leadership is very hard. We find ourselves wearing multiple different hats. We're coaches, part-time therapists, ensuring our day-to-day business is operating properly, all while making sure our reps are being as productive as possible. And I spend my day thinking about a few items consistently. Number 1, is our team supported? Are they receiving the right level of support from the business, from our managers, from myself? Are we setting them up to deliver predictable results, especially in the current economic environment we find ourselves in? And lastly, but certainly not least, are we setting up our reps to make sure that at 5 o'clock, they can confidently log off of their computers and their phones and not have to worry about work until that next day? Or do you have that fear that always runs through my mind, the concern that a rep is logging on at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night to complete tasks that they simply did not have enough time during the day to complete? This is time they're pulling away from their friends, their family, and we all know about burnout, and that is one thing we want to mitigate against. So how can we make sure everyone can complete their day-to-day activities while they're actually in the seats? And this all brings me to why Gong and how we leverage it. So Gong is an essential portion of our playbook, and it starts from the moment we bring a new rep through onboarding. Our enablement team has curated called libraries, effectively calls from our top performers, so individuals can see what good looks like, what great looks like, what they can replicate. In turn, it actually frees up time for myself, our managers, our top reps, the individuals that would typically get tapped in order to educate a rep for the first 3 to 4 months around our process and our sales motion. Secondly, it gives us incredible transparency into the deals and the opportunities we have in play. This is both for existing reps and our new hires. We can spot risk early and often, and we can coach against that risk to ensure that we mitigate it from happening again down the road. And last but not least, anyone that's part of any business that's fast growing has that same desire to have a repeatable process, one that's easy to replicate, one that's simple for reps to follow. And Gong enabled us to do this. And this is why I'm really here today. It revolves around creating predictability in our business. So I was lucky enough to be tapped to be one of the alpha users for Gong's newest solution, forecasting. And I'm going to walk you through how our team has leveraged forecasting to date thus far, and then how it's really expanded the usage of deal boards. So let's start off with deal boards. This right here is where I spend most of my time. This gives me the insight into every single opportunity that we have running, so we can start poking holes and confirming, hey, which ones should be progressing at this proper stage, and which ones maybe we just have staged improperly because reps have the typical happy years that we've all come across. What you want to see here, I bring this up because many sales leaders I speak with share the same pain point, and that pain point revolves around pipeline hygiene. And I truly believe it's not because our reps do not want to actually go ahead and update their pipeline on a daily and a weekly basis. It's because it's such a painful experience for reps to go through. You're opening 15 different opportunities, opening multiple different fields inside of each opportunity, and then repeatedly hitting save over and over again, and that is not fun. Deal boards actually solves that for us. From this one view, every single field that we need updated for our opportunities is listed on this one page. Whether it's stage, close date, forecast category, every single one of our medic fields, it's all on this one view so a rep can efficiently update their pipeline. And what that means for us as leaders is that we're not hunting around for information any longer. We know the rep is reliable. They're actually updating their next steps and whatever next progress should consist of with the respective deal. And myself and our leaders, we can actually spend time digging into the respective opportunities. And when I say digging into the opportunities, I mean I can click on an individual op and I can see every single interaction the prospect has had with their team members, be it phone calls, emails, any kind of engagement, and we can pressure test these deals and confirm we have them at the right stage. Now, we used to do this. Historically, we've always done this. However, when we would do this, we might be able to do this with 1, maybe 2 deals a week because it was so time-consuming. With deal boards, we can actually do this with every single one of our reps for every single deal, every single week. You want to talk about transparency? It doesn't get much more transparent than this. Now, I've always prided ourselves on being very accurate with forecasting. We hover right around 90%. Not quite 100 that we're trying to get to, but 90% is pretty dang good, especially for the stage of the business that we're in right now. The biggest value that Gong has been able to provide Handshake as it pertains to deals and forecasting is the amount of time that we actually spend on forecasting activities. We now maintain our 90% accuracy, and we do it in 1/3 of the time it used to historically take us. That's more time that our reps can spend on selling activities. It's more time that they can spend with their friends and families and not have to worry about logging in late in the evening to make sure everything's up to date to my selfish liking. So I'll walk you through the story. 2 years ago, when Deal Boards first came out, I was lucky enough to partner with Yoni from Gong's product team. And Yoni walked me through the feature functionality of the product and Deal Boards, and I said, wow, you did it again. You created yet another game-changing product that's going to dramatically increase the productivity of our reps. Thank you very, very much. He then proceeded to ask me that question that product always asks their users. It's something along the lines of, Parth, if you had one wish that we could go ahead and create for you next, what would it be? And then you typically give a response, and it kind of goes on deaf ears, and you never hear about it again. Well, when he asked me that 2 years ago, my response was simple. Please, please enable my team to manage every bit of their pipeline directly out of Gong. Do not require them to go into multiple different tools, spin their wheels, and slow them down. Just give them more time to sell and manage right out of Deal Boards. And at that point, what was missing was forecasting. So when Gong tapped me about 5 months ago to be part of their beta, I was stoked. I was absolutely going to say yes. It was like my dreams just came through, and I was excited to hop on the opportunity. And I guess I'll share this part. If anyone ever gets tapped, be part of a beta program for Gong, I highly recommend you take advantage of it. The experience is something like I've never come across in the past, and you actually get to go ahead and influence the product build out. The product that you're going to use on a daily and a weekly basis, you actually get to mold to your liking so it helps yourself and sales leaders alike. That said, if anyone is offered the opportunity, you're unable to join for one reason or another, you can add me on LinkedIn, you can message me. I will gladly take that spot for you. So I'm going to touch on a few of my favorite parts about forecasting thus far. At a high level, it gives me insight and ability to identify trends in our forecast. And that consists of, how's my forecast looked over time? What's my gap to my forecast? What's my gap to my quota? And I can share that gap with our team members, with our managers, so we can devise a plan to best address the gap. It truly makes selling a team sport at that point, because we're all striving for the same goal and have visibility towards it. The other portion is it gives me great insight into how accurate I've been, how accurate our managers and our reps have been, so we can praise those that have mastered the skill of forecasting. And we can also identify those that might have an area for opportunity. And I'm going to use my mid-market team as the example. Our mid-market team, if I do a proper job or managers do a proper job, our mid-market reps should become enterprise reps. They should become strat reps. They should soon be leaders in a variety of different businesses. And if we can educate them on the importance of forecasting and have them master that skill right now, it's going to help them for years to come. So this gives me the ability to actually turn forecasting into a great coaching tool for our team. Now, the best part, selfishly, that I like about forecasting is that I can actually pinpoint the changes in my forecast. Put in perspective, our mid-market team alone, we have 15 different account executives. We're still hiring, if anyone's interested. No, but we have 15 different account executives, and on average, each rep has about 15 different opportunities they're working. So you do the quick math on that, that's 225 opportunities our team is required to keep track of over time. And I don't care how much time you spend on forecasting, how much time you spend on pipeline, it is inevitable. You're going to have deals that will slip through the cracks. Those same deals are the deals that could have helped you fill the gap that we just previously found out. When I come onto a deals board, I can see at a snapshot all the deals that have had positive or negative movement and dig into the why. And I actually get to spend time strategizing about what actions should be taken so we can keep the momentum and the urgency behind that deal going. Or if a deal's gone sideways, what actions need to be taken so that it gets back on track. And truly, forecasting via Gong has been a game changer. It's transformed our overall sessions. So every single week for the last 3 years, we have 15-minute sessions with each one of our reps on Fridays. And we go through their forecast and make sure we're aligned. And historically, that time was spent on the basics. Do you have the right stage, forecast category, amount? We're kind of guessing and going off a feeling whether this is actually truly where it needs to be. With forecasting, because of the insight we're able to glean, we can actually start spending time strategizing on deals. See which deals we should be spending time and effort on, the highest value deals that will help move the needle for our business for the month, the quarter, the year, as opposed to low value tasks and kind of housekeeping items. So what's this mean for myself and our team? This stat says it all. We have 66% more time back in our week than we used to have when we did the manual process of pipeline management and forecasting. So I hope throughout this entire conversation, some of you are able to kind of get the sense of relief that I feel that your team doesn't have to spend time on low-value tasks, and the confidence that a predictable sales process can be created and maintained over an extended period. It's an honor to be here. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
So Parth, before we let you off the stage, I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
The first question, I'll give you the softball.
Okay.
With 66% time back, what do you do with all those newfound hours?
All right. We will break this down professionally and personally, I guess. Professionally, I actually get more time to spend with our reps and coaching them. But more importantly, there's no shortage of projects that we're all trying to execute upon, initiatives that we're trying to roll out. I actually get to spend more time and effort on those respective projects that will provide us much greater impact. Personally, I've got a fantastic fiance who's very accommodating when it comes to working after hours. She's very patient with me. Flip side is I've got 2 dogs that have 0 patience. So at 5 o'clock, they expect me to have a tennis ball in one hand, keys in another, and I'm off heading to the park. So I can actually do that consistently and not have them get upset with me.
Last question. What is the secret to that beard? Oh my God, it is exquisite. Those follicles don't quit. Well, let's hear it for Parth, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
We're at the park.